Coming into this movie, I didn't have the highest expectations for it based on its concept, and its title isn't very good. I don't think. It makes it seem really stupid, but just because even in the modern invasion movies, like we still get our asses kicked for the most part until we like figure out how to beat them in the end. But that's in modern times. These are cowboys. They have like pistols and or stupid repeater rifles and like knives and whips. So I was like, oh, how the hell are these guys going to be able to defeat him? The concept seems stupid. But with that in mind, I did like Jon Favreau's Iron Man. That was one of my favorite superhero movies of the past decade. So keeping that in mind, let's get into my review. The movie starts off with Daniel Craig's character Jake Lonergan wakes up with an alien sort of wristband on, and he has no memory of who he is or whatever, and then he basically goes into this local town after killing these marshals or sort of cowboy guys. I don't know who they were, and he kills them, goes to this town, starts to figure out who he is and stuff like that, gets patched up, realizes he has a weird injury on the left side of his abs, so he doesn't know who he is at all, and then he's apparently been in trouble with the sort of rich guy in the town who's played by Harrison Ford. And basically, after they've gotten to this like huge argument in the middle of town, these aliens out of nowhere during the night sort of attack and capture some of their people. They shoot up the town a bit, but I don't think their goal was to kill them. They're supposed to just take some humans in for studying, I guess, because they were there. They landed there to like study the humans, to come back and then ultimately invade the entire planet. So they take some of the people in the town, and then Jake and Woody and Harrison Ford's characters, Woodrow, basically take a bunch of men and try and go after the aliens and trying to get their people back. The movie's plot is pretty linear for the most part. It doesn't really deviate off course very much. It's basically really straightforward. Just they're tracking down the aliens for almost the entire movie before they discover the alien base and try and kill all the aliens. The one positive thing about the plot is that you care about most of the characters. The story focuses specifically on several important characters, including Jake, Woodrow, and Olivia Wilde's character Ella, I think her name was, and basically their relationships start to develop like as the movie progresses. So I think that's definitely a stronger point of the movie. Though my problem is that at least at the beginning of the movie, Daniel Craig's character just isn't very likable at all. Daniel Craig's character, Jake, is just pretty much a mean person to everyone. He's sort of against everyone since he doesn't really know any of them. And I don't think he treats people as nicely as he could, especially Ella, who sort of tries to be nice to him, but he pushes her away and stuff like that. So he's definitely not a nice guy, at least at the beginning of the movie. And same with Harrison Ford's character. They both seem just sort of like hard asses. But as the movie progresses, you do realize that they have a degree of depth to them. They start to be nicer towards the people and start to fight more for what they care about. The story itself in this movie isn't all that great. It's not all that original. The concept of the aliens sort of coming to Earth and to abduct and test stuff on humans isn't all that original, aside from the fact that it's in cowboy land and in the West. But basically, in terms of entertainment value, it's definitely very entertaining, and the story is compelling enough in terms of them like finding their people, and it's interesting enough to keep your attention. But it's not anything spectacular. The special effects are definitely surprisingly good. I noticed that the aliens almost look kind of real for the most part, and the movie does have a lot of well-made, sort of tense, surprising, and also suspenseful and exciting moments into it. So I definitely think the directing was well done in terms of what John was trying to do. The one big problem I had with this movie is that the plot itself just isn't very satisfying in terms of the amount of plot holes that this movie contains. Basically, the movie poses a lot of questions after you walk out of the theater. A lot of stuff isn't really resolved, so it doesn't really have exactly the best conclusion in the world. A lot of things simply aren't explained in the story, so if you're definitely really nitpicky about that sort of stuff, and you kind of analyze the plot and the characters and see if everything makes complete sense, then this is definitely not a movie that you're going to enjoy as much as you could, because there's definitely a lot of unknown explanations in terms of the characters and sort of about the aliens. If I told you about it, then I would be spoiling some major aspects story-wise of this movie, so I'm not going to do that. So all in all, I definitely enjoyed this movie, but it does have a couple problems, like I mentioned, just like in terms of plot holes that are nitpicky and would ruin part of your experience if you're like me, if you like to overanalyze some of the stuff. And I suppose it isn't all that engaging as much as it could be because Daniel Craig's character isn't all that likable at the beginning of the movie. And finally, I guess there's not really any subplots here, so if you're not really interested in just like a long sort of journey movie, then I guess it's not for you in terms of a deeper plot. But if you want to, just sit back, turn your brain off, like watch some good entertainment that keeps you interested for the most part, then I definitely recommend that you see this movie.
Hurry up! They're coming back! What in the hell were those things?
Why are you asking me?
They've got my son,
My wife. I need that weapon. It's the only thing that counts. What about the other people? Are they alive?
They won't be for long. You just have to work together.
Come on!
Who is she?
She's the only one who knows who I am.
You know who you are. You just have to remember. They'll come back with more, and there will be no survivors. It's what they did to my people.
I've seen good men do bad things. Bad men do good things. You go get our people back.
They're here.
Should we step in? Looks like he's doing fine.
God damn.